based 100 marks paper is there. Okay, quiz is there. Quiz are not time limited, time bounded quizzes are not there here. So this is not preparing you for the AWS certification. This is preparing you for just understanding core concepts. That is the purpose of this course. Okay, so you can see the grades, you can see what you have completed, what you have not completed. Looking at this, at discussion, you can have discussion with your peers, you can ask questions, you can answer questions to the questions that others have raised. Okay, you can go to modules for getting to know what you have completed, what you have not completed, right? So module 1, as I told you, was general cloud computing concept. Module 2 is concentrated on how cloud economics work and how the billing occurs in the cloud computing, especially the cloud computing type that we are talking about. So many of you are not aware of what are different types of cloud computing, but there are types like public cloud, private cloud, then you have something called as community based clouds, and there is hybrid cloud as well, wherein certain portion of the cloud is remotely provisioned and certain portion of the cloud is in or on premises. Okay, that is hybrid cloud, a combination of public and private cloud. Private cloud, every resource is available on your premises. That means you own the data center and you are using that data center's computational resources as a cloud based computational resources, not an individual machine you are accessing to. Okay, whereas when you talk about the public cloud providers, some names which are popular is Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Oracle, and Red Hat. These 5 names at least I am aware of, and there are many more such cloud providers which are referred to as public cloud providers. What they do is they have their own data centers, entire computational resources in their data centers spread across the regions, various regions of world. They provide a single unified access to these resources for anybody who want to access it, and that's why it is called as public access. Okay, but the amount of resources that you are provisioned as a user, okay, these will be only restricted to be accessed by you. So you provide certain degree of trust and security in the cloud computing domain. When you are talking about public cloud, there is more criticalness in the security aspects, more criticalness in the quality of service parameters when you are actually using a public cloud. Now AWS, Amazon Web Services, being a public cloud infrastructure provider, whatever we are going to talk about in this course, that is related to public cloud based services, that you need to remember. So module 2 basically talks about economics, how you benefit, because most of the people join companies join cloud computing because of economics of scale. They want to scale up, they want to scale horizontally, they want to scale vertically. Now these words might be new to you, horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, but as you go through the content and the video lectures, you will understand what do you mean by horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, what exactly it means, where it is applicable. And that is the beauty of this self-learning course. You need to understand certain jargons at tip of your tongues as well. Even if you are not expert on anything, you should be able to understand what the other person is speaking about. Okay, so let us understand what is the third module. So third module is AWS Global Infrastructure Overview. When I say global infrastructure, just 2 minutes back I said public cloud providers have data centers spread across all the regions of world. So AWS also has a lot of their data centers spread across world, and you will be learning about how these data centers are placed, how they are created from those collection of data centers to a unified view of a web service called as Amazon Web Service. Now AWS stands for Amazon Web Service. It is a website. Okay, so what we are looking at is a in structure website. Similar to that, there is this AWS website. So if I search for AWS, this is my AWS website. So all the data centers that are spread across entire world, Asia Pacific, Europe, Australia, Africa, North America, South America, Greenland, all the data centers that are available, these are accessible using this single unified view, which is called as a web service, and that's why we are having, or we are calling it as Amazon Web Service. Now this access that you are looking at is a web based or browser based access. So you are accessing your computing resources like networks, like storage, like database management systems, like computational resources. You are accessing all these resources which are referred to as computational resources through a browser based access, and that browser based access has a name, Amazon Web Service, because it's a web based service. Now any web service nowadays can have a programmatic access as well. That is, you can, using a program, access it, not necessarily as a user or a human user you can access it, but as a program user also you can access it. That is, you can access a website through API calls, application programming interface calls. Now you will learn through this course how are or what are the different ways to access these courses. Okay, that comes later, but at this moment you just need to understand that in the global infrastructure overview, you understand that my cloud resource, when I say, it gets divided into these various categories of resources: computation, networking, storage, database, and whatnot. There are a lot of different ways in which these resources are distributed. Now if you ask BIT students, they have a course where they know there are a lot of different ways in which these particular resources are there. In 8th semester they have a course on cloud computing and services. Module number 4, they talk about everything as a service. So everything you can actually point to as a service: software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and what you think can be provided as a service through a cloud-based infrastructure. That is something that we are going about in future. So let's go ahead and go to the module number 4. Now module number 4, as I told you, we are talking about public cloud infrastructure. Infrastructure is spread across world regions, and I'm getting a unified way access to this infrastructure using browser based access, but my access is public access. That public access necessitates making my data, making my services secured and not being able to access by other than who I am, right? So there comes the role of providing security to data, providing security to networking infrastructure, providing security to the infrastructure of the cloud provider as well. Okay, because the cloud provider service, if it is not accessible due to downtime, that also creates a lot of issues. So providing cloud security is a key aspect, and we talk about how the cloud security is managed by AWS in this module number 4. Module number 5 talks about networking and content delivery. Now we are looking at those OTT providers, Netflix for that matter, Amazon Prime for that matter, or your Hotstar for matter, Jio Hotstar. Currently the matches are going around for World Cup in cricket in India. India already is a populous country, and as you see, the live streaming of these matches are happening. Amount of eyeballs that are getting connected to these streaming contents, okay, these streaming video contents, they are in the numbers millions or more than hundreds of millions. Okay, so if you want to manage such access, such level of access to a web-based content, you must understand the fact how this content is delivered using content delivery network or CDN. So cloud service providers need to provide different kinds of networking services. Okay, they may be tunneling, they may be creating IP addresses, providing IP addresses, providing DNS services, providing private network services. Okay, there are a lot of different networking related services a cloud